You have a genetic code. When you stop and look at it, your mother and father's genes are complementary opposites. They're literally facing and paired in perfect complementations of opposites. And that's what that is. That's the synthesis of love and wisdom. In 1968, as I was on a journey from Texas to California, I met an amazing man in the streets of El Paso, Texas. I was a hitchhiker at the time on my way to California to surf. And this gentleman encouraged me to follow him to a library. And he sat me down at a table and he went off to the bookshelves and he came back and put 2 books on the table. And he saw that I was a hitchhiking kind of vagabond guy at the time. And he said, young man, I have 2 things I want to teach you. Number 1, never judge a book by its cover because it will fool you. You probably think I'm some old guy in the street, some bum, but I'm one of the wealthiest men in the world. I have everything that money can buy: homes, ships, planes, businesses. So don't ever judge a book by its cover. And then he took my right hand and he set him on top of 2 books that he put on the table. And it was Plato and Aristotle. And then he said to me this. He said, son, you learn how to read. You learn how to read, boy. Because there's only 2 things they can never take away from you, and that is your love and your wisdom. So you gain the wisdom of love and the love of wisdom. Now, I really didn't at that time have any really comprehension of the impact that was going to have on my life. I was just going out to surf in California. But later that became the very cornerstone, the very foundation of what I was dedicated to, just years later. Even to this day, a lovely gentleman, Dr. Amana from New York, as a gift, gave me cufflinks that say love and wisdom. Series of them. I have made those the cornerstone of what I do, because I really believe that the heart is the expressor of love, and the brain and mind, wisdom. And those are the 2 things that allow us to make us distinct from any other species. I've dedicated my life for the last 48 years to those 2 topics. I've defined both of them as the synthesis and synchronicity of all complementary opposites that you could ever perceive in your life. Now that sounds like a mouthful, but it's profound. When you are perceiving something and you put somebody on a pedestal, for instance, and infatuate with them, you're conscious of the upsides and unconscious of the downsides. When you look down on somebody and resent them, you're conscious of the downsides and unconscious of the upsides. If you infatuate them, they occupy space and time in your mind and run you. If you resent them, they occupy space and time in your mind and run you again. But you're not fully conscious. You're conscious of half and unconscious the other. But if you ask quality questions in life, which your intuition is constantly attempting to get you to ask and prompt within you intuitively, what are the upsides to what you think is down? What are the downsides to what you think is up? And level the playing field and become fully conscious and synthesize those 2 polarities and synchronize them and see them both at the same time and fully get to know something. The epistemology of knowing something is an expression of love and wisdom. We are distracted in our life in any of the 7 areas of life, in our mind for learning, in our business, in our wealth building, in our relationships, in our social leadership skills and making a difference, in our physiology, and even in our inspired quest, our spiritual quest. Whenever we're distracted by those things that we have imbalanced perspectives on, our intuition is constantly trying to get us back into that superconscious state. But if we don't ask the right questions and don't become fully conscious, we can get swayed by the impulses of infatuation and the instincts of resentment, and distract us from being present and empowered and purposeful and patiently productive and prioritize in our life to achieve something great. So love and wisdom is profound. It is truly the synthesis and synchronicity of complementary opposites. Our heart opens up when we have a perfect balanced mind. And our mind opens up because there's no noise in it. It's clear. It's inspired. It's revelatory. And it's very empowering. So that's why I've dedicated my life to that. I felt that there was some sort of a, I guess you could say, a synchronicity of why I met that man that turned out to be a truly one of the wealthiest men in the world at the time. But I was at the right place at the right time to meet the right individual for the right message. And love and wisdom has been part of it. All of my classes, all the teachings I do within my curriculum of courses, ultimately are for that objective. Love and wisdom. Because I know it helps you empower all areas of life. There's no doubt it helps clean out the mind. I've been teaching a program called the Breakthrough Experience for many years. And I show people how to use the Demartini method, which is literally the science of love and wisdom, and helping them ask intuitive questions to see both sides of an event. So they're not distracted by the external world. They're driven from within, from their heart and from their mind towards what they would love to do wisely. And so that is a very crucial component of everything that I am dedicated to in teaching. And so that's why when I wear those cufflinks, it means something to me. I'm very grateful for that gift he gave me, because it's a reminder of how important those things are in our life. Is Emanuel Swedenborg, the visionary, that basically said that the sun that gives light to us, that we depend on light from, the warmth of the sun is love, and the light is wisdom. And I think there's a nice metaphor there, because when we're enlightened, we have love and wisdom. And those that are enlightened are people that see the hidden order in their apparent chaos. They're not swayed by those distractions. They're present, and they're able to intuitively guide themselves back into the center. They're centered individuals. When that occurs, you have what I call the transcendental feelings. You have grace or gratitude. You have love. You have inspiration. You have an enthusiasm. You're certain. You're present. These transcendental feelings are very profound and the keys to an extraordinary life. So love and wisdom is a very important foundation for any great achievement, any great individual. So if you want to master your life, if you want to do something extraordinary, you want to leave a mark, make a difference, if you want to have something that you can say thank you for and have tears of gratitude, love and wisdom is the foundation. In fact, throughout the ages, I'm finishing up a new book on philosophy right now that I'm writing. And throughout the ages, the great philosophers studied philosophia. Sophia means wisdom, and philo means love. The love of wisdom, wisdom of love is what philosophy is. And although some scientists today are not really focused on philosophia, at the frontier and the cutting edge of all science is that joining place where philosophy exists, almost a metaphysical pursuit beyond the physical. And I think each of us have a yearning to want to continue to expand our frontiers of awareness and gain love and wisdom. So deep inside, that's important. When I was 17 years old, I met a teacher who one night, 1 hour, helped me realize that I was capable of doing more than I thought. And that was the first night in my life that I actually thought that I could someday be intelligent. I didn't realize what that really meant at the time to the fullest. And over the years, it's gone more profoundly in depth. But I realized it's all about love and wisdom. I think if you want to master your life, that's the cornerstone. That's the targeted focus you want to build it around. When I sign all of my letters to people, whoever they are, I end up with love and wisdom because of the significance. So love and wisdom is the cornerstone of a foundation of mastery, of any enterprise that you want to build and any life you want to lead. So yeah, this is a very important topic, as you could probably guess to me. And it's been part of my life since 14, probably before that, but I probably wasn't aware of it. And I really believe that that's the cornerstone of how to do something extraordinary on the planet with what you're made out of. You have a genetic code. When you stop and look at it, your mother and father's genes are complementary opposites. They're literally facing and paired in perfect complementations of opposites. And that's what that is. That's the synthesis of love and wisdom. Each individual that when they get married are bringing the love and wisdom of each other together to make something even more profound, the offspring, and for the next generation, the future. So we can't escape it. It's the cornerstone of our very existence. The essence of our existence is that our brain is a love and wisdom seeking organ. It's trying to help us get to what I call the telos, the greatest end in mind, which is what it is that you would love to do and do it wisely. And wisely means to do it with such sustainable fair exchange that the transactions you participate in are sustainable and are where both people win. And that's wisdom. That's what makes you have a clear mind. That's what helps you have a viable business. That helps you build wealth. That helps you in relationships. It helps you lead. It helps you have something social influential. It helps you in your physical health. Love and wisdom are the two great healers, because love emerges out of gratitude, and gratitude and love are still the greatest healers on the planet. And that's a wise life. In fact, most people live to eat instead of eat to live. When you're eating to live, you have wisdom. You're moderate. You're self-governed. If you don't govern yourself from within with love and wisdom, you end up having to be governed without. And the world outside you runs you. And you conform instead of do something with the norm. And I'm a firm believer that if you follow the path of love and wisdom, you're going to have gratitude at the end of the day. So I just want to take a few moments to share with you the significance of gratitude and love, and the significance of love and wisdom, particularly love and wisdom, as you can see from my cufflinks. It's such a great reminder to have those on and to be able to remind myself of those basic principles. But love and wisdom is, again, the synthesis and synchronicity of all complementary opposites. When I do the Demartini method, which is the method I've used to develop and dissolve emotional baggage so you can be present and empowered again, I take people through exercises where I ask them quality questions and allow them to be fully conscious and allow them to see the magnificent love that they're surrounded by. Sometimes we see events that are one-sided and they're stored in our subconscious mind and they cause us to react like an animal. But sometimes we can ask intuitive questions and become present and see both sides and bring tears to our eyes, and all of a sudden wake up the superconscious mind. And the superconscious mind is the storehouse of love and wisdom. And I think as we going along in life, we're accumulating love and wisdom to pass on to the next generation. And I think that's the very essence of our existence, as I said. And I believe that that's the exemplary path for any human being to follow in their life. So I just want to take a few moments to talk about love and wisdom and share with you some of those insights and that journey, because I really believe that if you take that and use that as a cornerstone, it can help you in your life. You're here to do something profound, and love and wisdom is something profound. So make that the cornerstone of what you're dedicated to. And I assure you, you'll be steered wisely. If you're navigating your ship through life, love and wisdom are the great points to focus on. You're captain of your ship and master of your fate. And that's the pathway that is going to leave its mark. If you have any desire to leave a mark beyond your life, the path of immortality, that's the path of immortality, I'm sure. I think Seneca said that very clearly. You measure an individual by their most distant ends, and love and wisdom expands your space and time horizons and creates the greatest distance, greatest ends in mind. So your teleological purpose, may it revolve around love and wisdom, and may you go out and do something extraordinary with those cornerstones, those great keys. I can thank the gentleman who introduced that really to me when I was 14 years old, and also the gentleman with the cufflinks. And along the way, almost everything that's happened in your life is always pointing there. Your physiology, psychology, sociology, even your theology is pointing you in that direction. So let's stand on the shoulders of giants and philosophers through the ages, and let's allow philosophia, the love of wisdom, the wisdom of love, to be our guide. So that's my message May you have love and wisdom today and tomorrow, and may you continue to go into the depths of its understanding and share that with people and exemplify that through your life. So, love and wisdom.